Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Nitya when are you ready? You can start, Mati.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna all the devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today we are reading from Canto 4, chapter 31. Let me do my prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayam Namaskrite Naram Chevam Narottaram Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jevam Uditrite Nashte Pareshu Abhidreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevam Bhagavati Uttam Shaloke Bhaktari Bhavati Nastike. Mm, Text 11. Without devotional service, what is the meaning of severe austerities? The process of hearing, the power of speech, the power of mental speculation, elevated intelligence, strength, and the power of the senses. Transcend- Transcendental practice that do not ultimately help one realize the supreme personality of Godhead are useless. Be they mystic yoga practices, the analytical study of matter, severe austerity, the acceptance of sannyas, or the study of Vedic literature. All these may be very important except of spiritual advancement, but unless one understands the supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, all these processes are useless. Text 13. Fact, Factually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all self realization. Consequently, the goal of all auspicious activities, karma, jana, janaha, yoga, and bhakti, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 14. As pouring water on the root of a tree, energizing the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to stomach and enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the supreme personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of that supreme personality. Just as the sunshine is known different from the sun, the cosmic manifestation is also known different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality is therefore all pervasive within the material creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be part and parcel of the body, but when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation appears different and yet not different from the Supreme Person. Text 17. My dear kings, sometime in the sky there are clouds, sometime there is darkness, and sometime there is illumination. The appearance of all these take place consecutively. Similarly, in the Supreme Absolute, the modes of passion, darkness, and goodness appear as consecutive energies. Sometimes they appear and sometimes they disappear. Text 18. Because the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, He is the super soul of all individual living entities, and He exists as both the remote and immediate cause. Since He is aloof from the material emanation, He is free from their interactions and is Lord of material nature. You should therefore engage in His devotional service, thinking yourself qualitatively one with Him. Text 19. By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other and controlling the senses from the sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead Janardana. Text 20. Being completely cleansed of all material desire, the devotees are freed from all mental contamination. Thus, they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very feelingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by his devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never become invisible. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nitumati. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Prabhu, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Sundram Prabhuji. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः वैराग्यविद्या निजभक्तियोगं शिक्षाष्टमेकं पुरुषपुराणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यशरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदितमहं प्रपद्ये हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are reading this chapter where Narada Muni is giving instructions to Prachetas. So in the previous chapter, we have seen how Prachetas glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he appeared after their austerities, severe austerities, and then Lord gave many blessings. At the end, he says, whatever they prayed for, whatever blessings, benedictions they asked for, everything will be fulfilled. So now, when the sages came out of the ocean, they married the daughter of the trees who were raised by the moon god, and eventually a son was born who is named Daksha. So Daksha appeared in many manvantras, and in this manvantra also he is called Daksha. The name Daksha means very expert. He is expert in conducting yajnas and sacrifices, the Vedic sacrifices and fruitive activities which are meant to elevate to a higher planetary system. So that's why he's called Daksha. So now, in this chapter, now the Prachetas have decided to leave the home and hand over the son Daksha to their wife, and they have decided to take the next step of Vanaprastha. So that means their Grahastha life is completed. Now they've taken the next ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, and they're trying to perfect their life. So when Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared, he also gave them blessings that after you will be enjoying this material world, in all opulences will be there, and by remembering me at the end, you will perfect your lives and come back to Godhead. You will go back to spiritual kingdom. So that was the blessings. Now they have taken the next step of Vanaprasthashram. So Prachetas they were walking towards the seashore in the west. So on that, in that path, they actually saw Narada Muni. So now Narada Muni started giving instructions to Prachetas how devotional service, direct devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The Prachetas were exalted personalities. They were, very enlightened. They could understand all the Vedic scriptures. They were doing all extreme austerities. So now they are very, very matured enough to understand the the instructions of Narada Muni, that the real gift of devotional service. So Narada Muni is giving this because he understands that Prachetas were perfectly qualified to receive. So beginning from verse number 11, today we are going through the greatness of devotional service, or how devotional service is superior to all other methods of perfection. So Narada Muni is explaining that. So now, in the previous verse, he explained how spiritual master gives this second birth by initiation, and then so by this one can actually given the opportunity to worship the Supreme Lord, like Brahman initiation. Despite so if he's indirectly saying that if he does not engage in such a service, then everything is useless. So now starting from verse number 11, he's again elaborating further on the devotional service. So the verse number 11, Narada Muni is saying that Shrutena tapasa va kim vachobis chitta vritibhi. So what is the meaning of severe austerities? Tapasa. So severe austerities. So if there is this process of hearing, vachaha, and then chittaha, the process of speech, and then the mental thinking process, elevated intelligence, strength, and the bala indriya radasha, so the power of senses. What is the use of all of these without devotional service? So without the bhakti. So Narada Muni is giving such elevated position to bhakti because bhakti is the essence of everything. So there was a verse in Vedas, it says tapasa, like the tapasa word, the austerities. What is the use of austerities? If you have already attained the devotional service, and then if you have already attained the devotional service, what is the use of austerities? Like the both ways it says, if you have not attained the devotional service, what is the use of devotion? What is the use of austerities? So that means the tapasha titiksham. So these austerities are meant to take us to the devotional service. But if we continue to do austerities, it is only loss. There is no gain. So that is the verse. The verse says. So similarly, the same meaning in this verse also. In the Upanishad, Prabhupada is quoting one Upanishad verse: Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Na Medasha Na Bahuna Shrutena Yam Evaisha Vrunute Tena Labhyas Tashyasya Atma Vivurnute Tanum Swam. So in this verse, it is mentioned that once a relationship with the Supreme Lord is not advanced if we simply study the Vedas. So only by studying the Vedas, our relationship is not, it doesn't get advanced. So on the other hand, if we grasp the essence of the Vedas, like the Bhagavad Gita says that Vedaisya Sarvair Ahameva Vedyo. So the essence of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. So understand Krishna and attain him. So Nate Vidur Svardhagatim Sa Vishnum. So Vishnu is the ultimate destination. He is the essence. So that is the point, in this verse Narada Muni is trying to establish. So the penances and austerities, penance and austerities at the end has to lead one towards understanding Krishna. So that is the essence of the penance. So and So here, Prabhupada is also quoting that one can be very eloquent in reciting Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. But if he does not establish the relationship with the Supreme Lord, then all of that gets wasted. So that is the essence. The essence is to understand the Supreme Lord and perform devotional service with all the 9 Navaveda Bhakti, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So that is the perfection that the devotional service will bestow. So for the example of the senses, Prabhupada is quoting that there are many animals, they are very expert in using their senses. Like for example, vulture, he is very expert in seeing from far away from sky. And certainly there are many animals. The dogs can smell better than us. The fishes can hear better than us. They have power of hearing, much sharp. So the senses, merely having a perfect, senses, is does not qualify. It's not the perfection, achieving the perfection of life. But they will become useless if we don't use them in the bhakti process. So that is the essence in this verse. So now the Narada Muni is trying to elevate the prachetas to the level of direct devotional service, and that way they go back to Godhead, with a full perfection. And also Narada Muni is giving this knowledge for all of us to understand through the prachetas, so we can take this both ways. So now in the verse number 12, he is saying how Kimva Yogena Sankhena. So he is also comparing the Bhakti Yoga process with the other processes, Sankhya Yoga and Nyasha. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means reading the scriptures. The process of analytical study of the scriptures, and Yatratma Pradohari. So here, Na Yatra Atma Pradohari. So here saying, by severe austerity, by accepting sannyasa, or by studying the Vedic literature, if they do not ultimately help one to realize the Supreme Lord, they are all useless. So, but all of these may be very important aspects of spiritual advancement, but unless Yatra Atma Pradohari, unless one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, all of these processes are useless. So here again, same message. He is also saying, but in terms of the processes. So there are many, there are many processes which can lead you towards elevated position to understand Supreme Lord. But that process alone cannot, does not give you anything unless you achieve the result. So that is the reason Narada Muni is giving this message here. So Prabhupada is very expert in distributing this devotional service. That's why in every page of Bhagavad Gita you would see him that one has to cultivate the relationship with Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna. One has to understand and worship him. Like that, every verse he will connect with the direct devotional service, because Prabhupada understands that all of the processes alone does not lead you to anywhere. It is simply useless if they don't connect you to the Supreme Lord. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, there is a verse in Madhya Leela that Prabhupada is quoting. Bhakti vina kevala jnane mukti nahi haya, bhakti sadhana kare yai prapta brahmalaya. So kevala sadhana, here kevala jnane mukti nahi haya. So here impersonalists who do not take to devotional service, But take to other practices like analytical study, Sankhya, uh, or the mystic yoga, they are beneficial only so far as they are complementary to devotional service. So as long as they bring bhakti, um, as a complementary, then only these processes have any value. Otherwise, they have no value. So in the Bhagavatam, like when Jadbharat and Rahugana, there were talks were going on. Rahugana will ask many questions. This body and there is pains and pleasures. How you can say the soul is actually completely aloof? Then he will say so many things. But then Jadbharat has witnessed that he has taken birth like a deer, and then before that he was like a king, and now he's born in a family of Brahmana. So you could see very vividly that the soul is completely distinct. It is taking different bodies. It has completely no connection, whether the body is fat, skin, completely aloof. So that kind of a knowledge only a realized soul can have. So here also we can see that austerities can lead you to bhakti, but then without bhakti, austerities have no value. It is completely different. So that is the meaning that one Narada Muni is trying to give. So and then the verse number 13. So it is said that Supreme Lord is the actual source of all self-realization. So, and consequently, all auspicious activities like karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Harir Atmadaha Priyaha. So it is indirectly Narada Muni is saying that all of these processes is Krishna. But if we don't directly understand Krishna, these the process have no value. So like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti meyam binna prakritir ashtada. So all of these energies, these earth, fire, water, ether, intelligence, mind, everything is Krishna's energy, separated energies. So in a way, the whole creation is energies of Krishna. But if we kind of separate that and then try to, just engage in only understanding the matter by austerities, then there is no value. So ultimately one has to do bhajatam priti purvakam. So that engagement of love and affection in devotional service with love and affection is the essence that one has to understand. So in the verse number 14 is giving, Narada Muni is giving that example of the pouring the water onto the tree. When we pour water onto the tree, we just pour it at the root, and then all the branches, twigs, everything else becomes nourished. Similarly, Supreme Personality of Godhead is like the root of the entire cosmic manifestation. So when one pours the love towards the Supreme Lord, then it gets distributed towards demigods who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So the message is given in Bhagavad Gita also, Urdham Moolam Adasakam. So this is the whole root of the tree of pouring water is given in Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna also says, Aham Sarvashya Prabhava. I am the source of everything, both spiritual and material worlds. So that's why we have to understand how by bhakti, performing bhakti, everything is automatically taken care. Karma and jnana becomes the byproduct of bhakti. So and then bhakti, uttama bhakti is definition is given by many Narada Muni and also Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami says Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam. So the jnana and karma doesn't mix. In the pure bhakti, uttama bhakti, it is purely anukulyena Krishna anusilanam, simply satisfying, being favorable to Krishna. So that is the pure bhakti. So if one tries to understand bhakti, then he will understand. He will. He will. One tries to perform the bhakti without the mixture of karma and jnana. Then one, performs the uttama bhakti, the elevated pure devotional service. So, and now Narada Muni is trying to give some examples. He's saying that in the rainy season, um, water is generated from the clouds, and in the summer season, the same water is again absorbed by the sun. So similarly, he's saying that all living entities, either moving or inert or non-moving, all of them, they are generated from this prakriti, and then after some time they all return to the earth as dust. So meaning that this body is created from the prakriti and again given back to the prakriti. So everything emanates from the Supreme Lord. The soul is given by the Supreme Lord, the body is given by the prakriti. Everything comes from him, and in the due course of time everything enters into him. So in the pralaya, so guna pravaha. Uh, Prabhupada is quoting the verse of Brahma Samhita, like it says, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Swaseshu Vashudati Vibhuti Binnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Asesha Bhutam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So here, Krishna, his body of Krishna, and these rays, this Brahman effulgence coming out from Krishna is this Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Like all of these and like Koti, like millions of universes, is nothing but the energy of Krishna that is coming from the body of Krishna, effulgence coming from body of Krishna. So Krishna is directly and indirectly sustaining the whole creation. So here the examples of rainy season, is the two examples is given in this verse is very appropriate. Like in the rainy season, we see all the water comes, the earth in the form of rain, and all the vegetables production happens, and then all the men and animals, they obtain energy. So, and then when there is no rain, when the food is scarce, the living entities cannot live. All this vegetables as well as the moving living entities, they're all product of this earth. They come from the earth, again they merge into the earth. Like when they die, they merge into the earth. So this, similarly, the total material energy is also generated from the body of Krishna. And then in the so it is like bhutva pralita. When it is manifested, it just appears, and then and it's unmanifested, it is again merged with the Supreme Lord. So, and then in the verse number 16, Narada Muni is trying to explain this achintya beda abeda tattva, like simultaneously the Lord is one, and the living entity is one with the Lord, at the same time is different. That tattva, that truth is trying to explain by the sunshine. So just like sunshine is different, non-different from the sun, at the same time, it is different from the sun. Similarly, the whole cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is all pervasive, like he is Eka, Ekopi Acho Rachayitam Jagadanda Kotim. So all of this, every atom is present, every Anu atom is present, simultaneously is outside this creation is also. So that's why Supreme Personality is all pervasive. And so here Narada Muni gives another example. When the senses, for example, all of our senses are active, they appear to be part of the body. But when the body is sleeping, and the body is in the sleeping condition, their activities are unmanifest, it doesn't manifest. So similarly, the whole cosmic manifestation, it appears different. At the same time, it is non-different from the Supreme Lord. So this is an example that Narada Muni is giving here. So in the verse number 17, now he is directly saying the prachetas. So all of these three modes of nature, passion, ignorance, and goodness, sattva, rajas, tamas, these are all appear as consecutive energies of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes they appear and sometimes they disappear. So, and he's saying, because the Lord is the cause of all causes and he is the super soul of all living entities, he is directly and indirectly connected to this material world. So, and then he's concluding that so you should therefore, he's giving all this reasons that prachetas, you should therefore engage in devotional service, thinking yourself qualitatively one with him. So here Narada Muni is kind of concluding, from all this, because of all these reasons, you should bhajadvam, like eka bhavena bhajadvam. So eka bhavena means thinking yourself one in quality. One in quality means the Lord is also eternal, we are also eternal. Lord is also full of knowledge, we are also full of knowledge. And Lord is also blissful, we are also blissful. Satchit Ananda. So we are same quality, but Lord is Vibhu, we are Anu. Like we are just minute and Lord is unlimited. That is the difference that scriptures say. And Narada Muni is also giving the same message, and he is asking them to perform bhakti with that mood, thinking oneself qualitatively one with the Lord. So, meaning that we do not think that we are material, we are spiritual. So, and then the verse number 19 and 20, he is saying that in this consciousness, we should dayaya sarva bhuteshu. We should be very compassionate and merciful to all living entities, and completely restraining the senses from the sense enjoyment. Sarva indriya upashantaya, by controlling the senses, tushyati, being satisfied, one can quickly satisfy the Supreme Lord Janardana. So now he's saying, with that consciousness, if one can be compassionate to all living entities, by this activity, one can satisfy the Supreme Lord. So, and then the last verse for today, verse number 30. Now, Narada Muni is saying, by this method, all the dirty things in the heart, material desires, will be completely freed. Like Bhagavatam also says, Nasta prayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevya. All the things, dirty things which are abhadra, means which are inauspicious, which will be completely removed because of the process of the bhakti. And then what happens? They can always think of the Lord constantly and address him very feelingly. So Nija Jana Vasha Gatvam Atmano Ayan. So here it says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing himself to be controlled by his devotee, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible. So now the blessings of the Lord is, once the devotee is always thinking and very feelingly addressing the Lord, and the Lord is also reciprocating with the devotees by always being with the devotees. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verse is also Prabhupada is quoting. How that one feels, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavambudo Krupaya Tavapada Pankaja Stitaduli Sadrusham Vichindaya. How one feels that, I am always your eternal servant, O Lord. Somehow or other, I've fallen into the material world. We have this mood of separation from the Lord, is the mood of always thinking of the Lord. This is the mood that Prabhupada is saying that that one becomes the recipient of the mercy of the Lord. So Hare Krishna. This concludes the verse 30 for today. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.